Good morning. Welcome to United First Parish Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, welcome to our Unitarian Universalist spiritual community. As we gather today, we acknowledge we are on the traditional lands of the Neponset Band of the Massachusetts tribe, a people who have lived here for generations and who live here now. I'm G. Fred Shepherd, and I'll be the worship associate today. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Friends from near and far, here in person or via live stream, longtime members and friends and newcomers alike, welcome to each and all. First-time visitors or returning newcomers, if you're comfortable, go ahead and raise your hand or rise so that we might offer you a small token of welcome. We're glad you're here today, and we hope you and everyone present will join us for social hour in the parish hall following the service. Our worship team today includes our greeter and ushers, Albert, Marilyn, and Paul, our live stream team, which is Fiona and Carl. Our musician today is Joe Stoddard, who is filling in on very short notice for Tony, who is with his wife as she prepares for surgery tomorrow. And our decoration, our beautiful flowers here in front of the pulpit were done by our flower committee, which consists of Pat, Claire, Allegra, and Katie. And I'm pleased to welcome our guest worship leader today, the Reverend Darrick Jackson, to our pulpit. Reverend Darrick is the Ministerial Credentialing Director at the UUA. He is one of the authors in the book Centering, Navigating Race, Authenticity, and Power in Ministry. Reverend Darrick is active in DRUM, D-R-U-U-M-M, which is the UU Ministry for People of Color. And he is the treasurer for Healing Moments, which is a ministry for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's. He is pursuing his DMin, Doctorate in Ministry in Theology and the Arts at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities. Reverend Darrick and his husband, Dr. James Olson, live with their two cats, Merlin and Morgana. Darrick is a member of our congregation, and he and I sing together in the choir. We strive to be a welcoming community to people of all ages and abilities. In the back of the sanctuary near our ushers, you will find hearing assistance headsets, which connect to our sound system, and they can also be helpful to people who are sensitive to distracting background noise. We also have large print hymnals and also children's books, busy bags, and drawing materials that families are welcome to bring to their seat. We have a handicap accessible bathrooms in our lower level, and there is elevator access. Please see a greeter or usher if you need to use the restroom during the service. Now, as we prepare ourselves for worship, let us take a deep breath together, feeling the spirit of life that moves, spirit of life and love that moves within, between, and beyond us all. Breathe in, breathe out. And with our hearts open for worship, I invite Reverend Darrick to share a reading as I light our chalice, which is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith.
Our chalice lighting is by Reverend Sarah Lawal. Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise.
Now, please rise as you are willing and able to join in the reading of our congregation's covenant. The words are found in your order of service. As a free fellowship of this historic church, We unite to lift our hearts and open our minds to a larger reality, to accept, support, and encourage one another, to seek the wisdom in all religions, to cherish and sustain the web of life, and to strive for justice, compassion, and peace. And now let us greet one another in the spirit of fellowship and peace. All right, never mind. Okay. And now, as we remain standing in body or spirit, let us lift our voices in song for hymn number 101, which is in the gray hymnal, Abide with Me. Please be seated. And now I invite our children to come forward to these front rows here for our message for all ages, which is going to be delivered by Reverend Darrick.
Good morning. So, who would like to take a look and see what is in the basket? It's kind of heavy. Can you pull it out? Do you know what that says on there? What type of book? That is a dictionary. It's actually a dictionary of Christian ethics because that's the only dictionary I had in my house. So our story is about a dictionary. So our story is A Story of Resilience by Yvette Salinas. Myra Turner, age 9, sat with the family dictionary open on her lap. This was one of her favorite things to do when she got bored. Passing the time away by skimming down the list of words and stopping when she reached one she didn't recognize. If her mom was there, Myra would get to ask for help understanding the definition. Considering how busy Myra's mother always seemed to be, it was a good way to connect, even for just a moment. So, Myra Turner, age 9, glanced at her mother and slowly drew her fingers down on the page of ours. Residential. People live there. Residue. Gross. Resign. I quit. Resilience? Mom, what's that? What's what? Myra's mother looked up from her computer, where she'd been furiously typing just a second before. Resilience, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, Myra read aloud in her smartest voice, then paused awkwardly. What's that mean? She saw sadness flash across her mother's face. That's a really tough one to explain. Myra's mother took a deep breath and tapped her chin. Well, you know when I told you how my coworker's home caught on fire on Friday, but they were back to work by Monday? Yeah, Myra nodded. That was so bad. I would have been really sad if all my stuff got burned up. Who could have been thinking about working then? Mom nodded. I'm sure they were sad, but they were able to go on with their lives. That's resilience, though it was probably because they needed to work to pay for a new place to live. Myra fiddled with a corner of the dictionary's page. Well, at least they were given a temporary place to stay until they found a home. But I still don't understand resilience. Okay. How about when Rosalinda showed up at the school play but couldn't go in to see it because their wheelchair couldn't get up the stairs? Myra nodded. I can't believe the school made that poor old lady wait outside in the cold. Myra, I'm sorry. I thought you said we should treat our elders with respect. We should. And Rosalinda could have just been angry at the situation and gone home. But they stayed and waited until an accessible side door was found. I remember when we wrote all those letters and the school finally built a ramp at the entrance, Myra recalled. It should have never been an issue in the first place, Myra's mother scowled. I imagine they have to deal with that all the time. Myra considered these two stories about the person at her mother's work and about Rosalinda. I guess you get resilience when you grow older? Not necessarily me, huh? Remember when Jacob was upset about not getting picked to lead that school play? Oh, yes, he worked really hard on it, but they said he'd be better as a different character. Yes, so I recall. Imagine what Jacob was feeling then. It's not as big of a deal as a home that burns down or navigating a world filled of barriers, but even children can show resilience when they don't let setbacks, big or small, bring them down. Myra raised her chin with pride. Well then, I can be resilient too. You can't just decide to be resilient. Nor are resilient people really born that way. They don't just stumble into it either. Resilience is forged through facing difficulty again and again. Sweetie, you don't always have to be strong on your own. I thought I had to be resilient and take care of us on our own, but that kind of resilience came at a cost. It was exhausting. Now that we've connected with our neighbors and made so many friends, it's not so hard to be resilient as it once was. Resilience can be honed right here, right now. And resilience is like a muscle, which you build with use. And a wonderful thing has happened, Miha. Our connections to the community mean we always know we have someone to turn to. And you're learning more about what you're capable of, and that you too can rise above. My hope for you is to stay connected with a community that will help you along the way. Myra took this all in for a moment, as she usually did. Then when her mother defined a word for her. Then she nodded to herself, stored this conversation away for later, and proceeded to run her finger further down the dictionary page past the time. Reson, resonate, resist. All is well. Thank you for the story and having fun. And I will sing you out to your classroom.
Let's go to the nursery.
Through the sharing of our joys and sorrows, we create a sacred space where we are deeply present with ourselves and with one another. This is a time to briefly share the life milestones that lift your spirits and joy, or the pains and losses that fill you with heartache. If you have a joyous sorrow to share, please come forward, share your name, and speak from this microphone. Alternatively, you can raise your hand and an usher will bring the handheld microphone to you. And as we begin our sharing, we light a candle of joy, knowing that a joy shared is a joy magnified. And we also light a candle of sorrow, knowing that a sorrow shared is a burden lightened. Let us open our hearts to one another. As we end our sharing, we light a final candle representing all the joys and sorrows we hold silently in our hearts. May the light of these candles and the compassion of our community remind us that wherever we are on our journeys, we're each worthy of love and we are each able to love.
Let's take a moment to take a breathe together and take a breath in and out, held by this community. And let us take a moment for meditation and prayer that will include words by Mary Oliver. Spirit of love and light, we come this day with so much on our hearts, so much on our minds. We come with loss. We come with celebration. We come with care and concern. And we ask for comfort in those difficult times, to hold us in our grief, to join us in our celebration, to hold us in those times we do not know what's going to happen next. May we find comfort in these words by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Blessed be. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our next hymn, number 95, There is More Love Somewhere. Our reading this morning is Stop Telling Me I'm Resilient, Why It's Harmful, Not Helpful, by Radia Shabazz. I don't look like what I've been through. This old adage is thrown around often as an expression of gratitude for overcoming life's toughest trials and tribulations and managing to look fabulous at the same time. The cliche, though, doesn't account for the internal toll of going through it can take, or what effects consistent subjection to stressful experiences can have on mental health and well-being. What many people don't realize is these constant struggles and never-ending battles have left me exhausted. I feel the fight in me depleting as my emotions range from loneliness, anger, frustration, guilt, fear, and unsupportiveness to just plain old tired, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And as I feel these sentiments and comes to terms with the fact that I too have a breaking point, I want to be able to experience and honor all of them without repetitions of how resilient and strong I am in the midst. These reminders from family and friends I know are well-meaning and meant to emphasize my proven survivability, but they aren't helpful at all. In fact, responding to my pain with an acknowledgement of my resilience is actually quite harmful. Resilience is portrayed as a positive and desirable character trait because it is indicative of strength, commitment, and perseverance through the most dire of circumstances. Surviving such conditions seemingly unscathed equates to resilience. Therefore, those who do not survive can be labeled as non-resilient. But such a simplification serves as both a minimization and normalization of traumatic, chronically stressful experiences. We should not be celebrating it. We should, however, ask ourselves, at what cost resilience comes? For far too many, the payments we make to maintain our strength and a grasp on resilience come in the form of various mental and physical health ailments. Friends, I'm tired of being resilient. I'm tired of being strong, enduring hardship, succeeding against the odds, accomplishing in spite of. I just want to be, to live, to love, to thrive, not just survive. We are constantly inundated with messaging about resilience. We constantly see these special interest stories of people who have survived against the odds, and the hidden message in all of those are, they did this, you should too. But maybe it's time to question this idea of resilience. So, what is resilience anyway? So, the American Psychological Association defines it as the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or changing life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So, resilience is how we adapt to change. And it manifests in how we think, how we feel, and what we do. And that makes sense that we things change all the time. We need to adapt and adjust to change. But as in our reading, Radia Shabazz, she tells us that resilience is portrayed as a positive and desirable character trait because it is indicative of strength, commitment, and perseverance through the most dire of circumstances. And we should ask ourselves at what cost this resilience comes. When we think about resilience, we actually don't talk about the cost of being resilient. If it gets us through the moment that we're in, but we are not made to be resilient over the long term. And this results in effects that are detrimental to our health. The more we are resilient, the more it drains on our bodies. We physically are getting tired and tired. Our brains are mush. We are just not able to continue up at this pace. And the world these days seems like it keeps throwing other things for us to be resilient about. We need to question this idea of resilience. Therapist Lourdes Dolores Follins says that resilience is a leftover from slavery. It's a leftover from colonization. It's left over from oppression that's been systematic. And so the people who oppressed us, referred to us as strong because they were talking about us like animals. And so when you talk about people as if they are animals, as if they are subhuman, then you are only commenting on their physical capacity, which then becomes something that's morphed into resilience. But that's not about resilience. This quote, it really struck me when I read it, because it hit me that cultivating resilience creates the space so that you can continue to treat people badly, because they can be resilient and move through it. So how do we actually then think differently about resilience so that we are not allowing ourselves to continuously be party to systems of oppression? I think about the use of resilience in business. And yes, it's actually talking about adapting to changing times, but I also see resilience used in ways that says, can you adapt to worsening working conditions and you're resilient. If we can just keep taking away staff so that you have to do more, and oh, you're the resilient one, so we'll keep you on and give you a raise and give you more work to do, or take less resources for you to do more. I don't think that's what we need resilience for. Resilience also asks us in this common understanding to be more individualistic. It's about what we do. And I think if we start thinking about as a community, kind of a community base of how we support one another, then we don't have to be resilient on our own. That we are supporting one another to navigate these times, these difficulties, the struggle. So how might we then change our approach to resilience? First, we need to be open and honest that things are not okay. We need to feel free to cry, get angry, release the feelings instead of hiding them behind a veneer of civility. Let all those feelings out and present so that we are able to name what is happening to us. We need to then move from I mentality to a we mentality. You don't need to go it alone. It's not better to go it alone. We need to draw on community for support. We need to offer support as a community. And if we can think about our resilience as a communal process, a communal engagement, then we are supporting one another and not letting it on each one of us to hold the weight of navigating this world. And I think that instead of focusing on resilience, or just focusing on resilience, we need to focus on what changes need to be made in our culture, in our systems, in our institutions, and work towards those changes. We don't need to just figure out how to get by. We actually need to work about changing the systems that are in place that are creating the conditions that we are feeling the need to be resilient in the first place. If we can actually work together and change the world, then we won't need to be so resilient all the time. We are moving off those things that are weighing us down, holding us back, causing us pain and heartache. We are not meant to be resilient all the time. The filmmaker Zonda Brown writes, "I dream of never being called resilient again in my life. I'm exhausted by strength. I want support. I want softness. I want ease. I want to be amongst kin. Not patted on the back for how well I take a hit or for how many. Instead of hearing, 'You are the most resilient people I know,' I want to hear, 'You are so loved. You are so cared for. You are so genuinely covered.'" As we rethink resilience, may we be so loved and cared for. And may we offer that love and care to others. Blessed be. Please rise in body and spirit for our next hymn, number 170, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People."
We drink from wells we did not dig, and we worship in a sanctuary we did not build. As a voluntary association, your gifts support the good works of this church. This week, we will share half of the non-pledge contributions from our offering with the organization Black Lives of Unitarian Universalists, BLUU, Blue. Blue is committed to expanding the power and capacity of Black UUs within Unitarian Universalism, providing support, information, and resources for Black Unitarian Universalists, and justice-making and liberation for Black people throughout our faith. As Reverend Darrick Jackson notes, as we talk about resilience this week, Blue has been a source of resilience for many Black Unitarian Universalists through monthly worship, social gatherings, faith development, and justice work. Blue provides culturally relevant support to Black Unitarian Universalists to help them survive and thrive. If this is your first time worshiping with us, please let the offering plate pass you by. Your presence here today is your gift to us. Donations can be placed in the offering plates or can be made online at ufpc.org. If your donation is for your pledge, please note that in the memo line or on an envelope. May the morning offering be joyfully given, and know that it will be gratefully received. The ushers can come forward.
Here at United First Parish Church, we gather in many ways to nourish the spirit, nourish community, and put our faith into action and participate in. You can read about our upcoming programs in your order of service. And I would like to highlight that the poetry group will be meeting this week. And also, a save the date would be February 28th, which is when we have a family game night planned. It's an all ages event. I'd want to again like to thank Joe Stoddard for filling in on very short notice this morning. Thank you, Joe. Now please rise as you are willing and able. Place your hand over your heart for our benediction by Reverend Darrick.
Peace and love to May we rethink resilience. May we be honest with ourselves and others about our pain, frustration, and suffering. May we offer love and care to our community, and may we receive love and care in return. And may we transform the world into one where all are fully living, not just surviving. Blessed be.
Blessed be.